Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to episode 16 of BDAchat. Last week we delved into everything about the client-agency relationship. This week we're tackling strategy. And so to take us into the strategy piece and to lead us forward and tell us everything we need to do with our creative marketing strategy, there's only one person you need to speak to, and that person just happens to be Camilla.
I was going to say David.
Oh no, David!
I'm joking.
No, we're going with Camilla.
Yeah. What do you want to know?
Tell us everything you know about.
Where do you start?
Yeah,
where do you start?
How does it
hard.
start? You know,
I don't know. I did a talk at Think 18 about strategy, and I guess that's
It was a
pretty
good
good. Thank you. A pretty good place to start. So, yeah, I think there's lots of bits that we can all chime in on. I think Rob, you can talk about digital and like sites and user experience. David, you'll talk about marketing in general, and Lee video as well.
Coaching.
I guess for me, it's more around how do you start that process, and it's really you did to me. It's really difficult actually, but for me, the first thing that you do is you look at everything that you've got. So we call it SEEK, like the first section. So you're looking at what's the problem, defining your problem, because a strategy is to solve a problem. And in the olden days, it means the art of war. That's what it means in Greek. And it means to have a plan, to solve a problem. And people get really confused between goals and strategy as well. And they're not the same thing. Goals is part of a strategy, but a strategy is a longer term. So I think the first bit is just finding out what the problem is and what you need to do. Second bit is finding all your insights. I'm going to just go for it. The third bit is simplifying your strategy. We can make things really complicated. We really don't need to.
you see that a lot, don't you?
Yeah, bring it right down, and then create your tactics, and then season it, and just keep a strategy really fresh. Because what you create now, in 3 months' time, is not going to be the same thing. Because the environment changes, your wants change, your competitors change, your customers change. So keep it really, really fresh.
So is it okay to like have a strategy for the year? But at the same time, what you're saying is you need to adapt, and you need to see how things are how things are working, how people are responding.
Tracking
Exactly.
data, you respond.
Yeah. That's all your insight.
So it's okay to have the plan for the year, but you want to be able to shift and manoeuvre,
exactly that.
flexibility.
Change direction if you need to, just with your tactics, maybe, for example, by looking at your insights.
You might produce a 3-minute video, and your data might say that people are dropping off before they get to the CTA.
Yeah. So let's kind of are they listening to?
Let's chop it down. Let's make it 2 minutes, or let's bite-sized chunks and start filtering it through more on.
And you see how that's more granular. So that's not your top-level strategy.
No,
that's just the granular detail of what's involved in your strategy. Is that 3-minute video? That's just a little slice of the pie.
Yeah.
Strategy pie.
Because you really need, I'm going to use marketing acronyms because I know Rob likes them. But things like soft stack.
Oh, diver.
So, situation, objection, strategy, tactics,
Whoa!
action and control.
We'll put that at the bottom. Sometimes.
Yeah. So, what Camilla is saying about seeking. So looking for your information, your situation. So that could be a pattern analysis. That could be doing your SWOT analysis. It's
that
just
stuff
really
is still
understand
really
the
good.
internal and external. It is,
You
yeah.
learn it at marketing college or wherever, but actually, it helps me out of no end of trouble when sometimes you're like, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do a SWOT analysis.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant.
Because it's almost that standing
Genuinely.
back and taking that bigger view rather than getting too granular, looking at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats to your business.
Yeah.
But actually, when you start to do it, you probably touch on things that you haven't seen before.
Yeah, and another one is, I think it's Kipling's, not the Cake Man, and it was the 5 whys, or what, why, how, when, and look at your problem and ask those questions. So, well, why is that an issue? Who's that an issue for? When is that an issue? Like, it's all those, there's loads of little tools that you can use like that.
Kipling, exceedingly good strategy.
Wow.
Good-o.
Please save us.
But
Please save us.
I think probably also what I've certainly found with strategy that I've worked on in the past is that you might think you know what you're going to, where you're going to go, what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, but then you start to write your strategy. You look at the situation, and actually you change your mind. You then start to think differently about the marketplace because actually you found out some insight that you didn't realise until such time as you've done that analysis, whether that's web analysis, whether that's looking at bigger data than that, whether that's talking to internal team members. It could be anything.
But can you change your strategy? Let's say if you've got a
Yeah.
client and you've this is what we're going to do. Here's your roadmap. And then let's say halfway through, the data comes in, you think, I need to do a bit of a U-turn here. Or
And that's
does
where an
that,
agency
does that
can
make
be
you
like,
look good
hang
or
on, guys.
bad? Or is that a good thing to say, Now, our strategy when we were here has, and I think it's an evolving strategy.
I think you
it needs to be
fail when
upfront
you
about
can't make that change.
Yeah.
And you go, well, this is our strategy. We must save embarrassment
to
or
it
risk
and
just, I'm not putting my head on the chopping board.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you can go, do you know what? We were really wrong 6 months ago. This is actually what's important to the customer, not what we thought it was.
Yeah.
And we found out, so we're changing and we're adjusting what we've done. I think it's a good thing to do that.
I think you have to
It's
be.
very healthy.
This day and age, I think any day and age, you have to be agile in all that you're doing in your marketing. The market does change so quickly. One action online can have massive repercussions, which means you have got to change the way that you're looking at the market and the opportunity that actually might present itself to you. And I know some of that's quite tactical in its execution, but I think also the overriding strategy needs also to be that. Can you write a strategy for 5-10 years? Maybe in some markets possibly you can. You might say, well, I've got this quite a large project which requires an awful lot of R&D and investment in it, and yes, you do need to look quite long term, but there are certainly elements of a strategy.
Made a strategy over it.
Well, yeah, because they want to gain their penetration in the marketplace and so on and so forth. But there are elements of that strategy which will need to be far more reactive.
So there's like the mission statement, which is, okay, as Tesla, we want to be the number one provider,
Yeah.
but their strategy will more than likely change over a set period of time. It'll adapt to the market.
Well, yeah, because they won't be quite sure exactly what their competitors are going to do.
Or what
Volvo
happens,
or
what
Ford
their customers
or
want
whoever.
all of a sudden.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's the biggest one.
Change of technological advances as well.
Yeah. Well, you see brands failing all the time, don't you? Looking at the
Oh,
brands
well, yeah,
who...
technological advances.
and they, I don't know, like the Blockbuster.
Yeah,
like
Kodak. There's all these
Tyvek.
big names. There's so many.
Woolworths, HMV are struggling, and you look at it across the board.
Us,
Across the
all
board.
the ones recently,
Well,
Mothercare.
absolutely. Just because they haven't changed how they get into their market, or they've been set in their
Changed the
ways.
strategy.
Yeah, and other players in the market who have been, and far more aggressive at it, have taken their legs away, essentially,
Yeah.
haven't they?
It's very interesting.
But going back to the point, I think that's why a good campaign, a good strategy, a good lengthy strategy has all these review points in it. So you're not just launching something, burying your head in the sand and ignoring how it performs. The whole reason we sit down and we do reports and we all work together is so you can react. You can either change the next thing that's coming, or you can change what you're already doing. So it's completely key. I think there's nothing more foolish than burying your head in the sand because you're a bit stubborn because this is the strategy we started with. It has to adapt. It has to adapt. Everything is changing around us. Whatever industry you're in, it's changing constantly. Technology is changing. The way users expect to use a website or the way they expect to have customer service, all changing. So that strategy needs to adapt, be flexible and reflect.
Can you scale a strategy? Start small, get bigger, or do you go bigger and get smaller? I imagine getting bigger and smaller.
Doesn't it?
I think you
Depends
can.
on your market.
Do you focus on one area of the
What you're
market
doing.
that you want to?
It might depend
Well,
on your budget as well. There's so many things that.
Well, yeah, because you look at strategy as a general thing. What you're doing is you're actually defining what is it we actually want to do. Do we want to develop a new product to go into a new market?
And overtake X by X.
Absolutely.
Think of it as a war plan in a sentence.
Yeah. Are we trying to take market share? Are we trying to grow our market,
And if so,
our sales
how?
within
And
an
then that's
existing
when the
market?
tactics come.
And so therefore, what are we going to do? Are we going to go take our existing product into a new market? There's those sorts of questions, and that will then boil down into the tactics that you'll use to actually enable that to happen.
Yeah. And I think at strategy level, when you start to boil it down to the tactics, is never spread yourself too finely. I think I've always worked with different companies. Some companies have always tried to tackle everything in one go. And I think sometimes you can bite off more than you can chew. And again, you've got to look at your resource, how you're going to support that, the budgets that you have, and make sure that you can give the right amount of focus to your key areas.
And I think that key area comes, I can't remember the chap who I quoted in the talk, but that key area comes where there's that area of your marketing budget that you can put some more money behind instead of 360 marketing, which everyone wants. Well, we'll use social and we'll use above the line and we'll use this and we'll spread ourselves really fine. What's your pinpoint? What has your insights identified as that really strong area, and put more of your budget behind that strong area?
Yeah.
Because you've got then more force behind, I guess, a given something that's proven that will be more successful than watering down your strategy for everything. So thus your results won't be great. They'll be mediocre, like, rather than one area with force, which is likely to break through and get a better result for you.
Yes. I think sometimes as well, we talk about strategy. Strategy and tactics are two different things. And very often, we are quite ingrained in the tactical side of activity. Who are we talking to? When are we talking to them? How are we talking to them? What are we going to say to them? How are we going to say it? Et cetera, et cetera. So we're involved a lot in that area. And I think sometimes I think it can get too overly complicated as well. Someone in the past said, if you're going to write a strategy, try and do it on 2 sides of A4, because otherwise, if it's too much, then people aren't going to read it. They're not going to absorb it, and therefore, it's not going to get action.
Yeah,
it can be,
and it's distilling it down into what the key message is. What's the key things that you need to do? How are we going to make this strategy, and then the subsequent tactics effective?
Tell you what we'll do. We'll add some on the webpage of this podcast. We'll add some like top tip bullet points of how to produce a really good strategy, and some things and some tools for you guys to think about when you're writing your strategy as a little kind of giveaway. So, we'll put that on the website.
Freebies.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. Well then, I think, is there anybody want to sum anything up with sum it up strategy in one, in one word, in one line?
I think simplify.
Simplifying strategy.
I don't know if I've got anything to add to that, really.
No.
Simplify, I think, is a good way of doing it.
Simplify. There we go. So I think
understand.
I
had to get one in there. Let's do that. Just understand.
What do you mean?
Understand what you're trying to achieve. Understand what people want. Understand.
Understanding.
Listen.
Yeah. Lovely stuff. There
Loads of words coming out now.
So be sure to check out the website where we'll have all the details of the links to help you define or develop your strategy. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else to cover this week on strategy. I think we're done.
That's not to say it's not a huge subject.
No,
that is really touching.
I think given our little 10-minute window,
we'll delve a bit deeper, like throughout the podcasts, into a bit
It's
more
definitely something
detail
we
where
can
needed,
revisit.
like video or web. Or,
Yeah, I think
absolutely,
talk about it.
Well, I think we can get more focused on this into almost individual areas. So it'd be good to kind of build on it, I think, in the coming weeks.
Great.
Has your Alexa been giggling at you?
I haven't noticed it. I did read that, though.
That's creepy.
It does talk
No,
randomly,
I don't
though.
like
It does.
My Alexa's just ignoring me now. So I'm like, Alexa, and it just carries on with the alarm, or it's driving me insane.
Just turn it off.
Apparently, anyway, just a random tip. So, anything going on with the website this week, Rob, that we need to go and have a look at?
Well, it's still like following on from last week. The couple of new case studies going on there, portfolio pieces. It is coming. Obviously, it's not a weekly thing, but this month you can expect some new ones. Some really interesting pieces on there. Again, showing what we've been up to. Obviously, in our culture section, you'll see the podcast going up there, but also live feeds kind of feeding in from our Instagram. Lots going on at BDA. And over the next few months, the website is really going to move forward.
We got 2 new guys that started today as well.
Yeah,
Lauren and
Jamie.
Jamie.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
which
right.
is really cool.
Yeah,
I've had a chat with Lauren, and I've had a very brief chat with Jamie.
Yeah.
Welcome to BDA.
absolutely.
So social channels. Anything going on social this week?
Yeah, like every day. So just keep posting.
Keep your eye on
really.
Instagram
Yeah.
feed.
Think BDA.
Lovely stuff.
At Think BDA.
Anything you want to add, David? Closing
No.
comment, closing mark, word of the day.
Word of the day.
Oh yeah.
Yes, word of the day,
Come on,
David.
David.
Oh my goodness!
This will be our word of the
Don't
week.
Throw this at me.
Come on, word of
the week.
week, David.
Word of the week.
Don't say simplify.
I'm not going to say simplify. Be inspirational to one another.
Good word.
It's a sentence.
It's a sentence.
Inspire.
Simplify.
Inspire.
Inspire. Oh, David.
Word of the day. Lovely stuff. Inspire.
Thank you.
There you go. So go forth and inspire, and we shall all see you next week. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.